pleasure to see you all. Morning. Hi. Yeah, I'm going for my morning walk, and this is what you'll see. Somebody on the boat along the canal. It's a pleasure to have you all join me. Um, Look, first things first. As you're watching this broadcast, please do me a favor. Subscribe to this platform, Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Subscribe, help us grow this platform. I really do need your support. I'm here appealing to everybody watching and those who will watch later on. Please go ahead and subscribe. There's a lot of discussions that we're having on here. We try and do a few things and, have a bit of fun now and then, but talk about really important issues that's affecting our lives. Good morning, Bantu Queen. Respect, one love. Yeah, I'm gonna call you after. I'll call you. Now, how are you doing? It's been a while. Wow, we have to catch up again. I know you're busy. It's a pleasure having you join me again. Yes, one love, sister. Oh, nice. Yeah. So, but no, fantastic. So what I want to do is, everybody watching now, please do me a favor. Go ahead and subscribe to this platform. The reason I'm saying this is because the platform I have on TikTok is always, they're always flagging my broadcast, and I will continue to be on there, but only to move people across to YouTube. Likewise on Facebook are very unpredictable as well. So it really is better for me that I actually make sure that my efforts and everything is geared towards this YouTube platform, and we want to grow it. I need to get to a minimum of 10,000 followers right now. We're about almost 7,000, but we need this work to be done because there's a number of projects that I need to get going. So the best way you can help us to accomplish our goals on this platform, which is to really further all things African, which is to make sure that we get the right news about Africa and put forward the greatness of Africa and stop believing in the lies that's been told by the colonizers about our continent. And it's not really Africa. I'm more and more, I know that the word Al-Kebulan, we don't call ourselves, we are not Africans, we are El-Kebulans. And I know it's a difficult thing to say, but I'm more and more certain about that we cannot be answering to the name of those who colonized us. That is counterproductive to our development. We have to reclaim our ancient name. We have to reclaim those ancient names. It is as simple as that. And walk in the footsteps of our Kebulan ancestors. Many of the names that we're called, the name to control and to really remove us from connecting us to our source. So, but when I talk about it, for purposes of understanding what I'm saying, I will use the word Africa for now, but I am strongly of that mindset. And you can see what Ibrahim Traore can see his vision. He is going to, he's really along that line. He's not interested in, that's another canal boat there you can see behind me. He's not interested in this idea of Africa being subservient to anybody. No way. He is about a totally free Africa, and that's what I'm about. Again, two things I'm really interested in right now. I want to go to the Sahel and report live on there. I want to be able to go to the Sahel region and report live on there, not once, not twice, several times. And then, of course, from there, of course, my own in Yoruba land, talk more about our independence. And here's what I want to say about Africa. Did you know that AES, they are now launching their own, they've been talking about their own currency. They're now planning to totally ditch the CFA, which is what I think they've put a cutoff date whereby that currency will no longer be in use in Alliance of Sahel States. And for me, I make bold to say, I already see that Alliance of Sahel States will be the foundation for the new Al-Kebulan-wide organization. The African Union, they're making some interesting moves. I don't know if it's real, but even that, if African Union will have to be merged into AES, with AES being the vehicle, because we need something that is created entirely organically on the ground in Africa, in Al-Kebulan. You see, you will still hear it, but so I will interchange the word Al-Kebulan and Africa, but the goal is really to make sure that we begin to be proud of everything African. I just saw a video, show you about it. There was a video, when I was growing up, there was a lot of calabash. We had a lot of calabash in Yoruba land that was grown. The calabash would hold water, you ate food with it, had offerings with it and all of that. But slowly, it's kind of disappeared. And now I've seen a video of somebody in Europe talking about calabash and now trying to say it's a revolutionary new thing. This is something I grew up with. I have a calabash thing at home that that you can put food in and you can cover for offerings. I have that. So this is part of my history. And that's what I mean. Now they're saying that is the best way to walk around with water instead of this plastic bottle. And that is really important, to talk about. That is what Africa brings. We have the soil to grow this stuff, to grow and reusable water can that can be used around the world without having to use plastics that obviously is doing environmental damage. The throwaway bottle, I hate using those bottles. But the kind of situation that we're in now, we're having to use those bottles. And so for me, that's what I mean. Africa can provide for the entire world with the food basket. We've got the resources. We've got everything that you want is in Africa. Why else do you think America and the West and even China are clamoring for control? It's time that we Africans, we should no longer be bystanders at our own table. We must set that table. We have been given crumbs from our own table by the colonizers. You hear me? As Africans, or our Kebulan, as our Kebulan people, at our own table, we have been under the table in our own land to fight for crumbs among ourselves. And let me say this to those who are believing in all these religions of Islam and Christianity. They are tools of division. I'm going to do a program about the Saudis. Do you know how Saudi Arabia came about? Do you know how Saudi Arabia came about? The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, do you know? Do you know that the British had a hand in it? Do you know? Is it something that, are you aware? Now, if the British came about with this Saudi Arabia, the name of a family, it's a Saud, yeah? And they created that. And then you're saying it's the Holy Land. What does that tell you about Iran and Quran? What does that tell you? What about this Mecca? What does that tell you? There's a lot of make-believe that's going on. A lot of make-believe. So we need to find out who we are, do more research. I'll do a program about Saudi Arabia. I will come and do a deep dive. Because you need to understand when you're talking about I'm going to the Holy Land, what Holy Land? What is Holy Land? It's a land where somebody decides they're going to cultivate, they're going to do something they're going to make sacred as they see fit. It doesn't necessarily mean it's something from somebody above or whatever they want to call it. And if you go and look at it, it's a stone, you know. Likewise, this doesn't live out Christianity. I'm just telling you that this is what is happening. We must understand, as African and our Kebulands, that every kind of religion, the roots are in Africa. They've taken it out and they've stripped it, and just exactly as the calabash bottle that I grew up using. It's the same calabash that they're using in making shekere. You'll see a beaded calabash that we use in music. That's what I grew up with. And now somebody now telling me, oh, it's a newfound idea. It's a newfound way of reusable water can that you carry around, and all of this stuff. This is what my ancestors have been doing for eons. So we have to see there's a similarity. That's the same mentality that they take something away, they make you not use it, forget it, and then reintroduce it as though they are the ones who created this. It is important that we understand that this is all they know. This doctrine of discovery thing is all they know. And it's time that we make sure that that is not something that we fall into anymore. It is something that we confront and say no more. No. We know who we are. We know our roots. We know our history. So there's a lot of re-educating ourselves. I was talking to a great friend yesterday, Black Stallion. I don't know, many of you want to show. I'm going to give him a call there actually. And we were talking about books. And here's the interesting thing. I was talking about the Constitution of Nigeria and many African countries must be in local languages. And he came up with another idea on the other side, that many of the great books of African writers, American writers, Caribbean writers should be translated into local languages for people to actually know a lot of history about what it means to be an Alkebulan. And I think when we start writing those books, that's where we're going to make the change. We have to put all of those books will have to be written and edited with the word Alkebulan as the name for our continent. Because in Africa, in Yoruba land, for example, there is no C. We don't have a C. There's no such word letter as a C in Yoruba language. So when you tell me I'm Africa, already straight away, that word is a problem for me. It is in my DNA, there's no recognition of that word of C. Now, if you talk about K, Africa, but even then, it has no meaning to say that. But when you talk about Alkebulan, if you talk about Pangaea, if you talk about Kush, you talk about those things, that has a meaning for me, Hey man, big radio head, greetings, yeah. So, welcome. Those of you watching, as you're watching, thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate you are listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak to power. I'm really glad that you're joining me. Make sure you go to my platform and subscribe. Make sure you help me reach more and more people. We are on a drive to grow this platform because we have a lot of work to do. We want to visit the 3 countries in the Alliance of Sahel States. So by you just subscribing, you'll get us closer to our goal of being able to go to those places, to those 3 countries, and be able to report and give you updates and interact and speak to the leaders. I have made it my goal. I will meet Ibrahim Traore in person myself. I will meet him. I'm going to meet General Assimi Goïta. I'm going to meet General Abdurrahman Chiani of the J. All of them are leaders that we want to meet and actually be able to, on this platform, interview them and ask questions and listen to their visions. Because we need all Africans to start speaking about our Kebuland. I keep saying, I'm going to interchange it, our Kebuland, all our Kebuland people, to start being able to have the perspective of our African and our Kebuland leaders. It is very, very important. We need to really make sure that key critical information is disseminated in our local languages. Our languages is key to anything we're going to do right now on the African continent. I'm speaking English now because it was colonially imposed. And my kingdom, Yoruba or your kingdom, was destroyed by those whose language I now speak. They destroyed Oyo Kingdom. They made our kings vassal kings. They forced religion, their so-called religion, on us. And thankfully, our Isheshe, our spirituality still prevails till today, still exists. And I always say the word, there's a simple word I say, Mojuba. When I say that, I am really connecting to my ancestors. Mojuba, Mojuba Olodumare, Mojuba Lale, Mojuba Baba, Mojuba Mama, Mojuba Omo, Mojuba Omode, Ọkùnrin, Mojuba Ọkùnrin, Mojuba Obìnrin. I am remembering and connecting to my ancestors when I speak my language and when I honor and venerate our ancestors. And we need to do that. We pour libations. I am very, 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 very clear who I am. I'm not one to hide from my African self. In fact, that's where I glow. That's where I come alive. And the more all of us can. Yes, so the more we can begin to take control of the narrative on the African continent, the more we take control. And the best way to take narrative on the African continent is to begin to use a language. Speak Yoruba, speak Gon, speak Wolof, speak. And anybody that wants to do any business has to speak our language on the African continent. It's that simple. Now let me tell you something about this. Same thing with currency. First they take your language. Once they take your language, they take away your ability to trade in your markers of doing trade. We were trading with these cowrie shells. We were trading with cowrie shells. And we were doing things in a way that made it clear that, for thousands of years, we've always done things in a way that made sense to us. But by removing that and forcing us to learn other people's language that has no bearing to us, that has no connection to us, they literally enslaved us in our own land. And not only in our own land. When you are speaking a foreign language on your land, they've also captured your mind. When you are having to learn a foreign language on your own land, and they tell you that it is vernacular to speak your mother tongue. That is a psychological colonization. And that is what we have to really understand. So I'm perfectly clear. I understand perfectly that I'm speaking English. But now for me, this language is a tool. It's a tool to achieve the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is for Africans to reclaim our true, our Kebuland, I'll keep saying it, our Kebuland, to reclaim our true identity, to speak our language on our continent, to take control of our resources, to be in charge of what happens on our. Thank you for the thumbs up. To be in control of what happens on in our area, on our land, and any trade, we must be in absolute 100% control of the resources. No longer must we accept any of this so-called doctrine that they've imposed on us, that our language is less worthy. Look at it. When you speak our language on your platforms, you are paid far less than when you're speaking English or French. And all of this is all designed to make sure that you are not getting true value for self. Your language, your culture, your food, your clothes, everything has been devalued. Everything about who we are as a black person, as an Al-Kebulan, has been devalued, melanated person. And it's not only in Nigeria, this is all over the world. Go and look at the foundational black Americans. They are finding their own roots now. And I want to say, anywhere you go on this planet Earth, the first people on this planet remains black people. And I say that unapologetically. I say it unapologetically. And I stand on that. Everywhere they've dug, they found black people. They found melanated people. I'm interchanging the word. And it's time that we understand that we are the beginning of everything. And it's fine. And you can say that. And I want you to start saying that in your local languages. Because when you're telling your youth about this, you're opening their eyes to the world. When they tell you about, you have to follow Jesus Christ and follow Allah, they are reducing your world. And they're saying that you are under their control. When you start understanding that this earth, every single part of this earth was populated with melanated people, even Russia. And credit to President Putin, the pictures that he shows where he's talked about the fact that the so-called Christ-like person that they're talking about, whatever, Christ person, is a black man, Yeshua. And that's, a twist of the name and all of that. So what am I getting at? The world that we view, there are so many questions that we have on this earth. And right now, because our history have been twisted, taken away, regurgitated, parts taken off and then represented as somebody else's history, we need to do the real work and make ourselves aware. And that is what I love about Ibrahim Traore. Did you see the video? If you go and look at my platform, there's a video I showed where the people who are all hailing eBay, 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 eBay. They were. And the people are, a rapturous welcome for this guy. Because he speaks the truth. And you know what he did? To continue along the lines of what he said, what he wants to do. When, towards the end of that procession that was greeting him as he was walking past and waving to the crowd, there were three men. One was dressed as a bishop, a spiritual African man, and a Muslim, an imam. And he shook hands. They were the ones he shook hands with. Now, those people may not understand what he was doing there. In the speech he had the last few days, he said, look, any religion you want, your religion must follow our laws in our land. No longer will we allow anybody, no longer will we allow any religion from outside the country to control our people inside our country. We will fund the education of Christians, of Muslims, of traditionalists. We, our government, so that they will walk within our laws. I want you to think about what he just did there. He has severed the line between those colonial control systems, because these religions are colonial control systems. These religions are colonial control systems. He severed that line. He said, no more. No more will these religions be allowed to control what we do on our land. No more. We will be in control of those religions. And because he's seen the damage that Sharia law has done. And I want you to know something. Do you know where Wahhabism came from? Do you know? Do you know its origins? Wahhabism came from Saudi Arabia. Do you know who taught the Saudis about Wahhabism, what they call Wahhabism? The colonials did. Yes. I will do another program about this. The colonials taught them about this Wahhabism, which is now a doctrine. And many, well, even now, the colonials, they were in the art of how to sever, dismember, do horrific crimes to people that didn't believe in their own doctrine. And they simply transposed that to the what they call the Wahhabism now. So when you think you're following a religion, maybe following some kind of order of this religion, and it's going to lead you to anything. No, it's our destruction, because the religion is not interested in Africans ever having a developed nation. No. They are here. The religion of Islam are tools of division. They're designed to make sure that we never have unity, to have peace and tranquility of land on our continent, our Caribbean continent. And we must wake up as Africans to begin to really tell our own stories. Read books by Sheikh Anta Diop, John Ben Yohanan, many others. Bowden, Bowden as well, many people. So there is a lot of work for us all to do. But please, in all I am saying, to be able to achieve all of this, Saudi, yes, well, it came from Saudi, yes, but the Saudis were taught Wahhabism. It was something that the colonials, the UK at the time, because they created Saudi. The country called Saudi is actually a family name, the Saud, the House of Saud. Yes, House of Saud. And that was created, that was how the British actually created that in the desert with these men, and they're using them to control ever since. Go and check it. I will come back and do a proper research on that. So we have to understand the connection between these religions, Islam, and it's a way to divide and control. And the unseen hand behind all of this, because their goal is to dominate, to control, to never let Africa be in control of our own destiny. So they will use any means, religion, miseducation. There's a book called Miseducation of the Black Man. Go and read that. There is a book called How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. Walter Rodney. Again, he was taken out. There's a book called Sheikh Anta Diop's Civilization of Barbarism. What we need to do, all of these books, I was talking to my friend, and we're going to work out a way where those books are going to be translated into African languages, because we want our people, no African should view his language, no African man or woman must view their language as inferior to anybody else. No, you mustn't. We mustn't allow that. And it starts from young. We have to tell the history of the world through the eyes of our ancestors on our own continent. So there's work to do. So please, join me in this journey of rediscovery of who we are, taking back our rightful position on our continent as masters of our own destiny on our continent, not somebody else's. We must reassert ourselves back on our continent. And we have a great man leading that charge, Ibrahim Traore. Salute to him. And of course, the fellow leaders, Assimi Goïta of Mali and General Chiani of Niger. These are men that can see, and they're putting everything in to make sure that Africans will remember, and our Kebulan, I'll say, we remember and we reclaim our greatness. No longer must we allow those who come and take from our land be in control of our resources, be in control of our mind, be in control of our land, be in control of our people. No more. The time is now for us to assume our rightful place on our continent. And this journey requires your support. Subscribe to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Subscribe, help us grow the platform, help us reach more people. Hi there, Steve Long, thank you. So there's something I want to talk about briefly. You know that there's a new system now, that the African Union, now I don't know how, I'm going to talk about it as well. It's called PAPS. It's a system of payments and a kind of like a payment system where the foreign currencies around the world no longer come between trade among African countries. And they've just started that system a few days ago. So I'm going to come and talk about it again later. I will do a program, maybe even after this broadcast when I get to the studio, you will see me come and talk about the PAPS system, PAPS. And we need to publicize this. So despite me staying, and I still stand by it, that African Union is not really working for Africans, it's working for the Europeans. And I've told you that African Union is not funded by Africans. It's funded by European Union to the tune of 700 million euros or something like that. I'll come and give you the exact details later on. So despite that, this particular move, this PAPS system that I'm hearing about, and guess what? Here's the thing I really like about this. And I can already see that Captain Ibrahim Traore may actually bring this into the AES as well. The symbol for this PAPS system is the cowrie shells. Yes. And cowrie shells has been used for trading in Africa for eons. Has been used as the main source of trading in Africa. And that's the symbol of this PAPS system. And this is a sign, because as soon as the colonials came, what did they do? They destroyed our trading system, trade by barter system, and all of the other kind of systems of monetary system, if you like. And this is now coming back now. That's what I'm saying, to make sure that this transformation to of people protecting, educating, sustaining the African continent, everything that we've ever learned, we have to unlearn, we have to relearn, and we have to prepare the coming generation. The youngest population in the entire world is in our Kebulan. Go and check it. The youngest population of youths in the world is in Africa. The future of the world, and I say that categorically, is in our Kebulan. The future of the world is in Africa. The population of all of those major, so-called major fraud economies is collapsing. It is collapsing fast, drastically. But the population in Africa is going up. So we need to equip this coming generation with the knowledge of themselves that has been hidden from them. So join me in this journey. Subscribe to Citizen AY. on this platform. Give us a thumbs up, share this broadcast, and we will be exposing and talking about things to encourage us, and also bring your knowledge, please. We all have innate talents. Every single stardust, because that's what we are. Every single stardust is built with innate qualities. So never ever underestimate anybody. Never. Always be willing to learn. That's my motto. I try to do that and raise awareness where we can. We need our own platform. I'm going to say that again. We need our own African platform, and we're going to work towards that. We have to build our own infrastructure for the platform. So I'm talking about making sure that we are in control of the power source that runs that platform. So the power that will be used to run our internet, we have to be in control of it. The structures and all of this, the tools and the stuff that you would need to keep it going, we have to be in control of it. And we need to make sure that all African nations, or our equivalent nations, their people have their own internet, so that this current structure will not be controlling, because they are using social media to control our thoughts now and our actions. Social media is being used to control the behavior. You see many people now, when you're talking about serious issues, they always remove you, they silence you, they take your page away. But if you're some African women go around half naked, guess what? They go, oh yeah, they get more views. They're trying to bastardize our society, and we need to fight against that. Not physical fight, but very, very aware that what we need to do is to build the structures ourselves, be in control, allow the people to speak and share knowledge about themselves that will nurture and sustain their society. I'll stop here for now. Thank you for listening. I'm going to come back in a little while. Please don't forget, before you go, subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. Go ahead now, share this podcast. Let us have your views. I'm really grateful for your support. I'll come back shortly. We will talk about the PAPS system, and we'll talk about I'll talk about the PAPS system and the announcement that the Alliance of Sahel States are no longer going to be using the SAFA currency at all. They're going to completely abandon it, and then run a system that would actually make sure that they get benefit of their own resources. They're cutting out the middleman. Let's have your thoughts. You're listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth. Please subscribe to us. Subscribe, hit notification button, give us thumbs up, and of course, we welcome gifts. And of course, make sure that you also share with family and friends. You're listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth. Thank you, and bye for now.